And so I'm back on again. Those who come in, come in. Those who are just watching after. Camera might move a little bit, but we'll try to keep it steady with our consciousness. This is what it's all about. How long can we hold information in within our consciousness? And let me double check with the mic. Mic check 212. This is going to be our intro. Mic check 212. Mic check 212. Mic check 212. Alright. Just for the record, just turn up your volume if you can't hear me properly. I do not have the best technology in the world, um, but I will soon. I will soon. Alright. Welcome on in. I told you that I'll be back. We're back. This is like part 2 of trying to get back with Source. I do advise, please turn up your volume on any device you are watching me on. I am not the loudest speaker because when I am loud, it seems like I'm passionate but then angry at the same time. So I'm not trying to give you that energy. So today's information is about getting back with Source, getting back to the angelic version or celestial version of you. Um, the best way to put it is by going within. As I said earlier, give the divine presence 10% of your brain, meaning the lower parts of your consciousness, so you can ascend to the highest point of your consciousness. We are here to ascend and to expand. So when we are ascending, we are already in a higher state of consciousness of wanting to ascend. There has to be a will house for you to want to ascend. We're trying to go back into Source, going back into darkness, going back into what makes us us, which is light consciousness, in order to visualize what light is. Ask spirit, what is light? What is your light? Spirit will describe your light, and that is your light. Some of us operate on a darker light. Some of us operate on a lighter light. Light is light. It is Source. It's what makes you you. God, what makes you you. The divine, what makes you you. We are a reflection of these concepts that we hold within our subconscious or within our consciousness. Or within our subconscious, it becomes consciousness. It becomes aware. When consciousness is aware, you have two options to do something with that consciousness. You either expand or you disintegrate. But energy and consciousness never disintegrate. It goes somewhere. That consciousness that you hold within you is another part of you that expands from a higher part already existed before this pre-existed body. This body is projecting, is a projector, literally. It is to project what it is in your subconscious that you already experience within a different dimension. All you have to do is unlock it with your inner child by asking your inner child questions, because your inner child is the source of you. The adult version of you is just the subconscious adult version of that inner child. Like this embodiment that we are in today, this age, it is, I want to say it is a reflection of your reality. It's not the reality that's within your subconscious that you're trying to make happen. How do you make something inside of your mind more real than the reality that you are looking at? The thing is, it's about accepting what's reality, accepting what is real and what is not. We have the power and the will, but there are other spirits who operate in a different light perspective, in a different house. So they try to control what it is that you are seeing in reality, because they think they are the main character of your reality. Everybody, it's like, think of this, it's like a movie. Everybody's on set. Everybody is playing a role. Everybody has a job to do. Everybody has a mission to complete in some way, a shape, or fashion. Everybody is trying to get to the center of this completion to know what it is for, what it's all for. And reality is, we are here to have a human experience. A human experience is consciousness, which it is the ninth ether, which you are yourself is the ninth ether being, the ninth consciousness. You operate on the good side and the bad side. You get to choose. It's duality, if you understand duality. If you understand how the matrix system split itself up, then you understand how these gods and goddesses split themselves up, and how you split yourself up from ego to spirit. Human people, or human consciousness, sorry, you might get offended, they operate on ego and spirit. The godly consciousness operates on everything by accepting what is everything that it sees, that it creates. We, the Christian got it all wrong when they said, like, I'm not saying they're wrong, but like, it's a deeper meaning when they say Christ fell, or like Christ, or when they think Jesus is not here. They're saying that they have not really fully ascended in a way. They're trying to figure out how to send up to Christ, how to become like Christ. How do you become like Christ? Well, we think like Christ, but how do you really truly think Christ? How do you truly think like a God or something or source? Well, think of yourself as nothing first. Ask yourself, what is it that I'm trying to get back to become? Because you're getting back to something to become something that you truly know. It's not what the flesh desire to be. The flesh is just the camera. Let's say that. It's hard to picture that way. The flesh is the camera, but it's also an illusion. So in a way, you're trying to get back to what made you you. What made you you? Really, other consciousness. It took two other people to create you. It took two other consciousness to create them, and so on and so forth. And then that's kind of like how, you know, society works, how reproducing works is having two minded individuals. One is masculine, one is feminine, to order to create this what you called child, or you know, the inner you, the soul, the source. That child is the source of that parent, those parents. If one source, if a child loses one part of its source, it knows how to activate another part of its source through a different consciousness. You can operate on your mother and father. Father deals with time, mother deals with creation, rebirthing. But then mother also operates in the father's time to order to rebirth and create and to reproduce. So she operates in a male-like concept and also in a female-like concept. That's how human operates too, or spirits operate as well. So when asking spirit, where do I come from? Spirit is not going to tell you where it's come from. You have to feel what spirit is telling you where it comes from by envisioning what it feels like. Spirit is going to give you a breakdown, in text form. It's up to your mind eye. It's up to you, the source, to visualize what is spirit is telling you. Listen within, go without. Go within and go without. Sometimes you can do both. You can think inside of the box and you can think outside of the box. You can create both worlds, outside and in. Then you become God. You know how to operate out of your timeline. It's easy. Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we get lost as gods. Once we don't see things fulfilled, we get upset. Yes, we do. And then we just say, fuck it. We don't want this shit no more. And try to start all over. Don't try to start all over. Just stay where you are. Even if you're in a stick of the mud, you can still always find a better outcome out of it by going within and leaving with what no longer resonates with you. Pick up a new piece and solve the puzzle, because that's what you do. You can solve things as a god or a goddess. You're here to solve what it is that makes up you, your creation. I told you earlier how some of us can see spirits, right? What if I told you those spirits are operating on frequencies? Frequencies of us from a different timeline, a different dimension. It's so hard to explain. Once you're tapped in, once you realize who these spirits are, then you know it's another reflection of you. It's another mirror construct of you. One spirit of you, one version of you is operating on a futuristic version of you. The other is operating on the past version of you. There's many paths within paths. There's no count of how many past lives you have encountered. It's only when you ask spirit the question, spirit will show you. It's funny, because the version of you now is just the projector of your past, present, and future. You're seeing everything happen all at once simultaneously. Literally, all at once. Then that way, you create a portal, a gateway called quantum personality, quantum physics personality. I'm still trying to figure out a name for it. Is where you take version of you that already learned a specific subject. You locked it away subconsciously in a part of your membranes. Whichever one, it's totally up to you where you locked it up. I can't tell you where you locked you up. You locked your inner child in the center of your brain, the back of your brain. You need to bring that inner child in the front of your brain, that pineal gland that is projecting onto those visions. So when that inner child projects into that cocoon, into that pineal gland, into that pie, it starts to see its manifestation by believing in what it already created in the first place. What it created, it was through the environment that it was in. The environment told it what it did not want and what it desired. But desire comes in the form of many things. It becomes in the form of flesh, and also it becomes in the form of love or the spirit. Some of us are following spirit, some of us are following the flesh, some of us is following the consciousness, some of us are following the subconscious. Wherever you put your ancestors or your inner child, that's where you kept them stuck in, and you're trying to get them out. You're trying to go back to the center point of view. Imagine a line and another line going across each other like a cross. And then there's a center. And that center is you. And what's around you is just a projection of illusion of what it is that you truly desire versus what you need, what you want. Because you're only knowing what you need, what you want is through flesh. Knowing what you need is what you want is by going within, asking spirit what it needs, what it wants. You'll be surprised what spirit wants and needs. It's totally different than what the flesh needs and wants. It's the principle of you. What makes you you? How do you value you without seeing others within you or wanting the acceptance of others for you? It's hard to explain. It's uncomfortable, but once you start to think like this, you'll be like, huh, okay. It's just a rabbit hole. We're all Alice right now. Like, we've been Alice for a long time. We have not even come close of being the Mad Hatter. Half of us are operating on the Mad Hatter frequency, and some of us are just questioning and not going through the rabbit hole, not experiencing the wonderland or creating our own wonderland. Instead of questioning that wonderland, how it got created, why not sit with spirit and see how you can create your own Garden of Eden? It's the same. It's evil, but that's how everything is created. Through good versus evil. Sorry. I try to keep this steady. Like, through good versus evil. It's how we are designed and made. We're light and we're darkness. We're everything and we're nothing. So we gotta create what is nothing to become something. And we don't know what that something is. Or we're too impatient to let it hack its own shell. We're too controlling of its egg, if you get what I mean. But yeah. That was like kind of like part two of it. That's all it is. We're trying to get back what makes us us. We don't know what us is. Like, we truly don't. Us is everything. We created the dimensions. We created the rules within the dimensions. We created this matrix. But we can't access our own creation of matrix. Why? Is because the God version of us put a riddle to the lower part of us, which is the devil part of us, so that the devil part of us can have a consciousness of its own to get out of its own matrix. The devil part of us no longer think like a devil. It thinks godly now. It just becomes one. It's simple. It's wrong to kind of have this type of thinking, but then again, I kind of question my geniuses, but then I don't. But at the same time, I'm here for it. Good job, inner child, for knowing that. You have to study life. It's the way of life. Study the flow. Study its currency. Study how nature operates, not how you operate. The body itself, is operating on man-made rules. The light version of you operates on a divine time, and who knows what that looks like. Only the angelic version of you knows what that looks like by you asking its questions. What am I? What am I? What is light? What is source? What is darkness? What is true essence of a spirit having a human experience? That's how you be a philosopher. That's how you study philosophy or whatever it is that you study. Question your knowledge. Question the information that is given to you. It doesn't hurt to ask questions. The truth might be painful, but it will set you free. Mm. Maybe one day you'll get it. Maybe one day. Something has to penetrate you to get this information. I'm clicking a subconscious version of you, or I'm clicking on a consciousness version of you that is aware of this information. Yes, you are aware of this information. Why? Because you are experiencing it in real time and have already experienced it, meaning it's past it. Now you're just waiting on what's next. You have a duality consciousness. You see everything from both sides. Some people don't have a duality consciousness, so you're trying to bring those people to see both sides. How can you show a person who have not experienced this type of information just yet? Well, you give them in context. Like you tell them what it is that you are seeing by penetrating that information in their pineal gland. Pineal. I cannot say that shit. I cannot say that word for shit. The third eye. They are downloading information that you have experienced through what you are telling it directly. You might be verbally speaking it to them, but you're telepathically speaking it to their spirit. You're not really speaking of the flesh. You're speaking to the flesh of the visual so that it can see its vision. But the spirit is actually the one getting the information. But the ego is understanding spirit so that the ego becomes spirit. So it becomes one. It's hard for me to explain this shit if you have not experienced this. But yeah. Like you know how they say men from Mars, girls are from Venus, so and so and so. I see why they get that. Like okay, everything ties in together. Everything comes in together. Everything is one. Everything is equal of nature, of creation. So yeah, um, just don't forget about your inner child, your ancestors. They're stuck somewhere where you left them, all because you didn't see a vision fulfilled to come true. But you know, there's another path for you to take as a multiple dimensional being, spirit. You're able to travel all paths, all dimensions. You have all access to your matrix and all matrix. You have the code for you. Everybody else see their code. They do. Not everybody other codes will work for them. Those are just examples of how you can create your code for you. Like I just been an NPC the whole entire time, just watching. I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna say shit, but I'm gonna say something. I'll remember it. I ain't gonna remember. I always see things from two different angles. It's a gift and a curse, honestly. That's a good thing. That means you have the power to hold information that others don't have. Like, just act like God sent you in a room, which He did, or she did, which yourself did, and just observe the magic. It's gonna be some chaos, but love the chaos. The chaos becomes beauty. It becomes what you know of yourself. You gotta accept all of you when somebody is projecting negative of you about yourself that you might not see just yet. But you have a consciousness, you have a will to change that perspective about you, to be in a different light. How do you envision light? Is by feeling light. How do you feel light? Think of it as like go back in science, Google what creates light. Google what creates this and you become exactly that. Teach your inner child. Let your inner child, your inner magic, your ancestral versions of you, your angelic version of you imagine itself in its own perspective, not the flesh, not the ego. The ego, the flesh, is just a camera for it to just observe its a creation. That is it. That is all. Go on all paths. Go on all challenges. Take on all forms of you. Because you might learn something about yourself at the end of the day that you didn't learn before. Be like, I'm capable of handling this and that. I didn't know. Not until you walk through that fire and come out like a phoenix. You have to learn how to crawl before you walk. And when it comes to swimming, push yourself in because what you're gonna wait on somebody to push you in, which is you who should push yourself in, not nobody else's. That is your force. That is your nature's, not theirs. Because if they force their nature onto you, you might not be able to handle their nature as you thought. Me, I just said, fuck it, I can do it because I wanted to see how far I can go until I push my own goddamn limit. Now I know my fucking limit. And myself said, no, hold. So we're light as a feather now. Or trying to be. Still electric, but it's okay. We're getting there. But yeah, it's simple. It's easy. Put your mind into it. Penetrate yourself. I'm sorry, that sounds so wrong. But yeah, put some knowledge in you. It don't hurt to learn and to explore. You might not know everything. It's okay. You're not supposed to know everything. You're just supposed to report back what you know so everybody can have a blueprint of something, a gateway of some type of information. It's motion or it's prerogative. Whatever. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that's all I have for right now. All I had for right now. Just don't, when you go through like stupid shit, let the stupid shit be stupid. Okay? Just let it be stupid. It's not real. It's another test. It's real for the lesson for you to learn, to get the information, yes. But like, don't let it bother you so easily. Like, go back into the ether, go back into the inner child. Ask the inner child, what is next? What do I do? Be patient. The answer will come. Oh, we're all in the same boat, trying to get somewhere. Some of us are. I'm still learning about those other people. Like, they're all the way over there. Half of us is in the middle. Some of us is all the way up in the front of the shore or like up to the horizon. And I'm like, bye. I'm like, where they going? Candace ain't going with them. So I'm just saying. It's weird. Are you gonna stay? Because I'm telling the technology to stay. It was like wobbling. Yeah, everything is divine timing. You just have to be patient. Life is a journey. That's what it is all about. It's a journey. It's seeing if you get it or not, and if you don't get it, then you got till next time to expand. But how many times do you want to keep learning the same lesson over and over? Don't you want to just learn it now and expand at the same time? So when the next time it comes, you walk through it with an easy piece of cake. Like, okay, that shit didn't do nothing. It didn't do nothing to my spirit. It might have hurt my ego for a minute, but my ego needed that to recognize that it was a problem for me to fix. It's it's spiritual and it's life lessons. It's everything, all of the above. 100. Dang it. 100. And my head hurts. I hate when I channel. I start to like lose energy quickly. That's why I try to do these videos little by little because I do lose energy holding in so much information. And I've been silent for a long time, so everything is just rushing out of me. I'm like, okay. Because my spirit keeps moving. It's time. Like, we're in a different time of the future. And I'm like, wait a minute. I haven't even got there yet. Now it's on to something else. And I'm like, okay. It's exhausting, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying being a passenger. That's controlling my life. That's all it is. We're trying to get back to controlling ourselves, not controlling others, controlling what we see in our reality, how we perceive it. Like, I know shit makes y'all angry. Like, the past make me angry too. But I don't let the past define me. I let the past shape me, not define me. There's a difference. I define myself, but I also shape myself. But I need the pain in order to figure out what shape I'm truly in. And I'm a hexagon. So I'm an 8-figure. So yeah. If you know astrology, if you know geomantra and geomatrix, then you know what a hexagon represents. I'm a portal. So I don't say that lightly. I really don't say that. I have to be careful how I say that because I attract darkness and light. But mostly darkness, mostly broken people. Sorry, you're broken and you're trying to get healed from me, but I'm trying to tell you we're on the same boat trying to get healed. It's just my inner child can speak to your inner child better than you can speak to your inner child because the version of you, your inner child might not like just quite yet. It's not understanding why you think this way or why it can't think for itself. So I'm trying to tell your inner child and the version of you now in this timeline is to chill out and be a parent to that inner child. Guide it or let it guide you. Don't strain it away. Like, I had a vision of, like, I was in my goddess form, and there's a lot of children. Like, a lot. And everybody was climbing up on my leg, in a way, because I was very tall, which was weird. I guess I was my Nephilim giant self. And like all these children, I couldn't tell whether or not half of these children's souls were alive, so there was projection or they was astral projecting, and I could tell some of them knew what they was doing and some wasn't. And then you have the dead. The dead was just dead, but they was moving, and I was questioning the dead children, like, how are y'all moving? And the dead children told me, well, you're giving us motion. You're giving us not to forget about ourselves. You're giving us imagination again. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm helping you to remember you even during death. They are rebirthing in death, remembering who they are through somebody else remembering themselves as an inner child. And you can call these like what, matrix children, the ones who've been neglected, abandoned in the ether. It's like I'm kind of like their orphan mom or some way, and that took form on, like, they just grabbed my legs, like all of them, and started climbing up on me, and it was scary but dark but beautiful at the same time. Like I was scared, but then I wasn't. I was like, okay, I can just do it. It was just too real, sort of. But yeah, that's what I kind of like got. But yeah, that was like part two, I guess. Trying to get back to source. It's very simple. Take away that 10%, that negative of you. Give that 10% away to go back to you, to get back to source. So you can access that 20% of you. When you're operating in that 20%, you can feel where the light is hitting you in your membranes, like where you're visioning at. You kind of become Lucy in a way. If you've seen the movie Lucy, yeah, you start to operate as a ninth ether being. That's what she kind of like represents, Lucy. I'm done. I'm like, can I go? My inner child is like, can I go now? I'm like, I'm tired. What you gonna do then? I'm like, I don't know. Watch cartoons. I'm like, okay. I get drained when I try. I got. I do not like that thing. You gotta think strong, positive. Remember, the north is the future, the south is the past, the east is the feminine, and the west is the masculine. And then the north is the sun, and then the south is the daughter. There you go. I hope that resonates. I hope that resonates. Okay, bye. Love and light. If y'all have any questions, feel free to leave it after the video. I do not mind. Text me, whatever, but make sure you give this video a fucking like, and make sure you fucking subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. And fucking donate, like something. I much appreciate it. Love and light to you. Blessed.